The label filed for bankruptcy in 2006, eventually falling into the hands of a private equity fund.
Death Row was the empire that once touched the stars but had its own tragedy. In 1996, things were unraveling at a breakneck speed. Dr. Dre took his leave, Tupac's star dimmed tragically, Snoop Dogg's album fell flatter than a pancake, and Suge Knight found himself cozying up to iron bars. Death Row's downfall is often blamed on its shady reputation, but the real trouble was deeper than a rabbit hole. Suge Knight wanted it all: the power that came with A-list names, the dominion that came with complete ownership, and none of the drawbacks. Business, especially the music business, however, isn't a buffet where you pick and choose. In this video, we will look at what happened to Death Row artists. Dr. Dre. In the early 1990s, the music industry was forever changed when Dr. Dre joined forces with Mary and Suge Knight to create Death Row Records. The label quickly gained a reputation for its raw and gritty sound, capturing the essence of West Coast hip-hop. Dre's production skills and artistic vision played a crucial role in the label's success, and Death Row became the face of hip-hop at the time. Under Dre's guidance, Death Row signed some of the most influential artists of the time, including Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur. The label's roster boasted a lineup of talent that was unmatched, and their music resonated with audiences around the world. Dre's unique sound and ability to craft infectious beats made him a sought-after producer, and his collaborations with artists like Snoop on his debut album and Tupac on California Love became instant classics. But behind the scenes, tensions began to rise. As Death Row's success grew, so did the financial stakes. Dre, who had started the company with Suge, started to feel that he was not receiving the proper compensation for his contributions. He believed that his talent and hard work deserved a larger piece of the pie. Who can blame him? He is the Dr. Dre. The contract disagreements between Dre and Death Row reached a boiling point in 1996. Just a few months after signing Tupac Shakur, one of the label's biggest stars, Dre made the shocking decision to leave Death Row. The exact details of the contract disagreement that led to Dre's departure remain somewhat murky. Some reports suggest that Dre was unhappy with the financial arrangements and felt that he was being unfairly treated. Others claim that there were creative differences between Dre and Suge Knight, with the two having conflicting visions for the direction of the label. Regardless of the specifics, Dre's departure from Death Row was a significant event in the music industry. It marked the end of an era and left a void that would be difficult to fill. Death Row had become synonymous with West Coast hip-hop, and Dre's departure left fans questioning the label's future. But Dre's departure was not the end of his career. In fact, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. Shortly after leaving Death Row, Dre teamed up with Jimmy Iovine, the co-founder of Interscope Records, to create Aftermath Records. This new venture would allow Dre to have more creative control and ownership over his music. With Aftermath Records, Dre continued to pursue his music career and collaborations with other artists. With Aftermath Entertainment, Dr. Dre aimed to create a space where artists could thrive and push the boundaries of hip-hop. He wanted to cultivate a sound that was distinctively his own, while also providing a platform for emerging artists to shine. The same year he left Death Row, he released a compilation album titled Dr. Dre Presents the Aftermath. This album served as a showcase for the talent that Dr. Dre had assembled under his new label. Dr. Dre Presents the Aftermath featured a diverse roster of artists, each bringing their own unique style and flavor to the table. The album was a testament to Dr. Dre's keen ear for talent and his ability to curate a cohesive body of work. The compilation album was met with critical acclaim and commercial success. Tracks like Been There, Done That, and East Coast West Coast Killers showcased Dr. Dre's signature production style, while also introducing listeners to the fresh voices of the Aftermath Entertainment roster. After the success of Dr. Dre Presents the Aftermath, Dr. Dre shifted his focus towards producing other artists. During the 2000s, he dedicated his time and expertise to nurturing talent signed to Aftermath Entertainment, including two of the most influential artists of our time, Eminem and 50 Cent. Dr. Dre took Eminem under his wing and became his mentor and producer. This collaboration would prove to be a game changer for both artists. Together, Dr. Dre and Eminem created a musical partnership that would shape the landscape of hip-hop. Dr. Dre's production skills and Eminem's lyrical prowess were a match made in heaven. The result was a string of chart-topping hits and critically acclaimed albums that pushed the boundaries of the genre. Their first major collaboration was Eminem's breakthrough album, the Slim Shady LP, released in 1999. The album was a commercial success and established Eminem as a force in the music industry. Building on the success of the Slim Shady LP, Dr. Dre continued to work closely with Eminem on subsequent albums. While Eminem was undoubtedly Dr. Dre's most prominent collaborator, he also lent his production skills to other artists signed to Aftermath Entertainment. One of the most notable success stories was 50 Cent. Under Under Dr. Dre's guidance, 50 Cent released his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, in 2003. Dr. Dre's production on tracks like In the Club and Pimp helped propel the album to massive success, selling over 12 million copies worldwide. Beyond Eminem and 50 Cent, Dr. Dre's production credits extended to numerous other rappers. He worked with artists like Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, and The Game. Dr. Dre's exceptional production skills did not go unnoticed. Throughout his career, he has been honored with 7 Grammy Awards. While Dr. Dre's focus shifted towards producing and collaborating with other artists, he never lost sight of his own artistry. In 1999, he released his second solo album, simply titled 2001. This album showcased Dr. Dre's growth as an artist and producer, featuring a mix of hard-hitting beats and guest appearances from some of the biggest names in hip-hop. Tracks like Still Dre and Forgot About Dre became instant classics, and 2001 was a commercial and critical success. While Dr. Dre's career soared to new heights during his time with Aftermath Entertainment, his personal life was marred by a series of shocking accusations of violence against women. These allegations have cast a dark shadow over his legacy and raised questions about his character. One of the most notable instances occurred in 1991 when Dr. Dre was involved in a highly publicized incident with journalist Dee Barnes. It was reported that Dr. Dre physically assaulted Barnes at a party, leaving her with injuries. In 1996, Dr. Dre faced another serious accusation when he was sued by death row artist Michelilla, who is also the mother of one of his children. Michelilla alleged that Dr. Dre had subjected her to domestic violence during their relationship. The civil suit was settled out of court, and the settlement details remain undisclosed. Another mother of Dr. Dre's children, Lisa Johnson, came forward with her own allegations of abuse. Johnson claimed that Dr. Dre had physically assaulted her multiple times, including while she was pregnant. Former label mate Tyree B also accused Dr. Dre of assault, claiming that he had attacked her at a party in 1990. In 2015, 2 weeks after the release of his third album, Compton, Dr. Dre issued a public apology to the women he had hurt. This apology was a significant step towards acknowledging his past actions and taking responsibility for the pain he had caused. While some viewed the apology as a genuine expression of remorse, others questioned its sincerity and whether it was a calculated move to protect his reputation. Snoop Dogg. Suge Knight, Death Row Records, and Snoop Dogg had a complex relationship with both loyalty and conflicts. Snoop Dogg's rise to fame is closely tied to Dr. Dre and Suge Knight, key figures in his hip-hop journey. To grasp his story, it's important to understand his connection with Suge Knight. Snoop Dogg's street credibility is unquestionable. He was connected to the Rollin' 20s Crips gang and even served time in prison for drug possession when he was just a teenager. These real-life experiences greatly influenced his music on the albums he made for Death Row Records. However, it was his appearances on The Chronic and his features on various other gangster rap tracks that made him famous. Snoop Dogg learned from Dr. Dre and collaborated on music. Suge Knight managed the business side of Death Row Records and handled the finances. Suge Knight's leadership at Death Row Records turned the label into a chaotic place where it was hard to tell if the music reflected real life or the other way around. Back when Snoop Dogg was riding high with his doggy-style success, he faced a serious murder trial. He was worried about leaving his son behind for 11 years if he got convicted. Luckily, he was found not guilty, which gave him a fresh start. But during this time, Dr. Dre decided to distance himself from Suge Knight due to contract disagreement and Knight's violent actions. Dre chose not to assist with Snoop's second album, The Dogfather. In a 2011 interview with VH1, Snoop expressed his desire to create more positive music at the time. The Dogfather marked a significant change for him, reflecting his shift away from glorifying negativity. After his legal troubles, Snoop Dogg went through a transformation. After being cleared of the murder charge in 1996, he adopted a more mature approach in his second album, The Dogfather. He decided not to promote negativity as Death Row Records had wanted and aimed to bring a positive aspect to his music. He said, "That Dogfather was a rebirth of me. I'm not going to glorify none of this negativity that Death Row wanted me to do. I'm going to bring a positive side of music." In the same year, Snoop left Death Row Records. Snoop Dogg left Death Row Records and joined Master P's No Limit Records because Suge Knight was in prison and Death Row seemed to be falling apart. This decision caused a conflict between Snoop and Suge Knight. Snoop claimed that he made this move with the help of God and a deal from Master P and Priority Records. This led to a war of words between Snoop and Knight, with Knight speaking to the media from prison. Snoop expressed his feelings by dissing Knight in his songs like Pimp Slap. In response, Knight released an album called Dead Man Walkin', which contained unreleased songs by Snoop from his time at Death Row, and the album title was meant as a threat. After being released in 2001, Knight initially talked about causing trouble. He said, "It'll be like the Wild West all over again. I got plenty of scores to settle." But by 2005, he and Snoop Dogg made amends. They patched hushed things up during a summit organized by Snoop to resolve conflicts. Snoop Dogg's musical journey has been a wild ride. After leaving Death Row Records in 1998, he embarked on a new chapter with No Limit Records, dropping 3 albums that showed his musical prowess. Later, he signed with Priority/Capital/EMI Records, where he released Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. Then in 2004, he joined Geffen Records and unleashed a trio of hit albums. But Snoop Dogg isn't just about music. He's also made a mark in the entertainment world, starring in movies and hosting TV shows. On top of that, he's a mentor in the world of football, coaching both a youth league and a high school team. In 2009, he took on a new role as the chairman of Priority Records, reactivated by EMI. In 2012, after a transformative trip to Jamaica, he adopted a new identity as Snoop Lion, delving into reggae music with his album Reincarnated, and a revealing documentary about his Jamaican experience. His musical journey continued with albums like Bush and Kool-Aid, but his influence goes beyond music. In 2016, he was honored with a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. He even defeated The Miz at WrestleMania 39 after Shane McMahon got injured. Snoop's evolution didn't stop there. In 2018, he announced his conversion to Christianity and dropped a gospel album titled Bible of Love. The Hollywood Walk of Fame recognized his contributions in 2018, with Snoop Dogg receiving a star. And most recently, in 2022, Snoop Dogg acquired Death Row Records and released his 19th studio album, Bodiar, adding another remarkable chapter to his incredible career. Many people think acquiring Death Row Records is a sentimental move from Snoop. He kinda proved them right with his opening statement, where he said, "I am thrilled and appreciative of the opportunity to acquire the iconic and culturally significant Death Row Records brand, which has immense untapped future value. It feels good to have ownership of the label I was part of at the beginning of my career and as one of the founding members. This is an extremely meaningful moment for me." Nate Dogg. "I'm basically in control of what's going on now. It makes it a lot easier when you can make your own decisions. I can do what I want to do. You can be more creative when you're not feeling like a slave. When you're on a record label, they have you like that." These were Nate Dogg's first words after leaving Death Row Records in 1998. Nate claimed his freedom from Death Row Records was due to contract breaches related to accounting disputes. Death Row's attorney, David Kenner, remained tight-lipped about the matter. Once released from his contractual ties, Nate wasted no time and ventured forth to establish Dogg Foundation Records. Nate Dogg, the man with the golden voice, was destined for greatness from the moment he entered this world on August 19, 1969, in the vibrant city of Long Beach, California. Born as Nathaniel Dwayne Hale, he grew up surrounded by the rich musical culture that permeated the streets of his hometown. From a young age, Nate Dogg displayed a natural talent for music. His deep, soulful voice captivated those who heard it, and it wasn't long before he realized that he had a gift that needed to be shared with the world. In the early 1990s, Nate Dogg's path crossed with 2 other rising stars in the industry, his cousin Snoop Dogg and his friend Warren G. The trio, recognizing their shared passion for music, decided to join forces and form a rap group, and thus 213 was born. The name 213 held a special significance for the group. It was not only the area code for their hometown of Long Beach, but it also represented the bond they shared as friends and collaborators. Together, Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg, and Warren G embarked on a musical journey. With their unique blend of smooth vocals, infectious beats, and raw storytelling, 213 quickly gained a loyal following. Their music resonated with listeners, capturing the essence of life on the streets of Long Beach and the struggles faced by its residents. Nate Dogg's melodic hooks became the group's signature, adding a touch of soul to their hard-hitting rhymes. As 213 began to gain traction in the industry, Nate Dogg's talent as a vocalist became increasingly evident. It wasn't long before his voice became sought after by some of the biggest names in the business. He signed to Death Row Records in 1993. Nate Dogg's journey in the industry took a monumental turn in 1994 when he achieved mainstream success with the release of the hit single Regulate. This iconic track, a collaboration with his longtime friend and fellow rapper Warren G, catapulted Nate Dogg into the spotlight and solidified his status as a rising star. The success of Regulate opened doors for Nate Dogg, leading to collaborations with some of the biggest names in the industry. One such collaboration was with the legendary Dr. Dre, but it wasn't just Dr. Dre who recognized Nate Dogg's talent. His cousin Snoop Dogg also enlisted his vocal prowess for their collaboration. Nate Dogg's contributions to Snoop Dogg's albums, such as Doggy Style and The Dogfather, added a layer of soulfulness to Snoop's laid-back flow. Their collaborations, including the chart-topping Ain't No Fun, became anthems of the West Coast hip-hop movement. Nate Dogg's ability to seamlessly transition between genres was further showcased in his collaboration with Eminem. The track Shake That, featured on Eminem's album Curtain Call The Hits, saw Nate Dogg lending his voice to the chorus. The collaboration was a testament to Nate Dogg's versatility as an artist, as he effortlessly navigated the realms of hip-hop and R&B. While Nate Dogg's collaborations with other artists showcased his immense talent, he also embarked on a successful solo career. After leaving Death Row Records, he released 3 studio albums. Nate Dogg's first solo album, G-Funk Classics Vol. 1 and Amp 2, was released in 1998. The double album showcased Nate Dogg's versatility as an artist. Songs like Nobody Does It Better and These Days captivated listeners with his unique blend of G-Funk and R&B. Following the success of his debut solo album, Nate Dogg released Music and Amp Me in 2001. In 2008, Nate Dogg released his self-titled album, Nate Dogg. This project further showcased his growth as an artist with tracks that explored different musical styles and themes. From the introspective I Need a Bitch to the upbeat and catchy Get Up, Nate Dogg continued to captivate listeners. However, as Nate Dogg's solo career flourished, he faced personal challenges that tested his resilience. In the early 90s, he faced charges for robbing a check changer shop in 1991 and a Taco Bell in 1994, but remarkably, he was acquitted. In 1996, he was convicted of a drug offense in Los Angeles County. Then came a highly publicized case in 2000, where he was accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend and setting her mother's car on fire. Dr. Dre posted a whopping $1 million bond for him. Ultimately, he was cleared of the most serious charges, pleading no contest to illegal gun possession by a felon, resulting in a fine and probation. Fast forward to 2002, and he's caught on a tour bus with guns and cannabis. The weapon charges were dropped, but he pleaded guilty to a drug charge, leading to probation and counseling. Things didn't calm down in 2006. He faced a new set of charges, including assault and violating restraining orders. In 2008, he pleaded guilty to some of these charges, losing his gun rights for a decade, receiving probation, and being ordered into a domestic violence intervention program. 2008 brought more trouble, as he was accused of making threats and stalking his estranged wife. He initially pleaded not guilty, but the charges were eventually dropped due to the alleged victim's lack of contact with prosecutors. During this period, he was also convicted of driving under the influence of drugs. Health issues, including multiple strokes, impacted his ability to perform and forced him to take breaks from the music scene. Tragically, on March 15, 2011, Nate Dogg passed away at the age of 41. MC Hammer. MC Hammer's connection with Suge Knight dates back to 1988. In 1995, Hammer signed with Death Row Records. Surprisingly, Death Row Records didn't release Hammer's album, Too Tight, during his time with them. However, he managed to include some of its tracks on his next album. But here's where it gets interesting. Hammer did collaborate with Tupac Shakur and others, creating notable songs like Too Late Playa, featuring Big Daddy Kane and Danny Boy. However, after Tupac's tragic death in 1996, Hammer decided to part ways with the record company. In an intriguing twist, Hammer later revealed his concerns about the circumstances surrounding Tupac's death during an interview on Trinity Broadcasting Network. He was in Las Vegas with Tupac the night he tragically lost his life. MC Hammer was born Stanley Kirk Burrell on March 30th, 1962, in the gritty streets of Oakland, California. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, MC Hammer found solace in music and dance. Little did he know that his passion would propel him to unimaginable heights of fame and fortune. MC Hammer's love for music began at an early age. He was influenced by the sounds of funk and soul that permeated the airwaves in the 1970s. Inspired by artists like James Brown and Prince, he honed his dance moves and developed a unique style that would later become his trademark. As a teenager, he formed a rap group called Holy Ghost Boys with his friends. They performed at local parties and talent shows, gaining a small but dedicated following. It was during one of these performances that MC Hammer caught the attention of music executive Louis Burrell, who would later become his manager. Under Louis's guidance, he adopted the stage name MC Hammer, a moniker that would soon become synonymous with his explosive energy and captivating performances. With his charismatic personality and undeniable talent, MC Hammer quickly became a rising star in the Bay Area hip-hop scene. In 1987, MC Hammer released his debut album, Feel My Power, which showcased his unique blend of rap and dance music. The album received moderate success, but it was his next release that would catapult him to international stardom. In 1990, MC Hammer dropped his iconic album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. The album featured the smash hit single, You Can't Touch This, which sampled Rick James's Super Freak and became an instant sensation. The infectious beat, coupled with MC Hammer's electrifying dance moves, made the song a global phenomenon. You Can't Touch This topped the charts in multiple countries and earned MC Hammer 3 Grammy Awards. The music video, featuring MC Hammer's signature baggy pants and flashy choreography, became a cultural phenomenon and solidified his status as a pop culture icon. With his newfound fame, MC Hammer embarked on a world tour, captivating audiences with his high-energy performance performances and larger-than-life stage presence. He became known for his extravagant live shows, complete with a full entourage of dancers and musicians. MC Hammer's concerts were a spectacle, drawing massive crowds and leaving fans in awe. But it wasn't just his music that made MC Hammer a household name. He was also a savvy businessman, capitalizing on his success by launching his own clothing line called Hammer Pants. The baggy parachute-style pants became a fashion trend in the early 90s, with fans around the world emulating MC Hammer's iconic style. As MC Hammer's popularity soared, so did his bank account. He amassed a fortune estimated to be around $30 million, making him one of the wealthiest entertainers of his time. From luxury cars to extravagant mansions, MC Hammer lived a life of opulence and excess. However, behind the scenes, financial troubles were brewing. MC Hammer's lavish spending and generous lifestyle began to take a toll on his finances. He surrounded himself with a large entourage, including personal assistants, bodyguards, and even a personal chef. The costs of maintaining such a lifestyle quickly added up, draining his bank accounts. MC Hammer's spending extended beyond his personal life. He invested heavily in his music career, often funding his own music videos and extravagant stage productions. While these investments initially paid off, the financial burden became too much to bear. In addition to his music-related expenses, MC Hammer made several ill-fated business ventures. He launched a clothing line, a record label, and even a television show. However, these ventures failed to generate the expected returns, leaving MC Hammer with mounting debts. As his financial troubles escalated, MC Hammer found himself in a downward spiral. He was forced to sell off his extravagant properties, including his mansion in Fremont, California, and his fleet of luxury cars. The once wealthy entertainer was now facing bankruptcy. In 1996, MC Hammer filed for bankruptcy, citing debts of over $13 million. How could someone who had once been at the top of the world find themselves in such dire straits? The bankruptcy proceedings revealed the extent of MC Hammer's financial mismanagement. He had failed to pay taxes, accumulated massive debts, and lived far beyond his means. But MC Hammer's troubles didn't end with bankruptcy. He also faced legal issues that further tarnished his reputation. In 1995, he was sued by his former backup dancers, who claimed they were owed unpaid wages. The lawsuit resulted in a settlement, further depleting MC Hammer's already dwindling finances. Despite his financial woes, MC Hammer continued to make music and perform. However, his popularity had waned, and he struggled to regain the success he had once enjoyed. He released several albums in the following years, but they failed to make a significant impact on the charts. In the early 2000s, MC Hammer made a surprising career move by embracing his Christian faith. He released a gospel album titled Family Affair and focused on spreading a positive message through his music. While the album received critical acclaim, it did not achieve commercial success. BT hailed Hammer as the 7th best dancer of all time, acknowledging his legendary moves. In Vibe's The Best Rapper Ever tournament, he made an impressive mark, ranking as the 17th favorite during the initial round. But the beat doesn't stop there. Hammer is still rocking the stage at music venues, and you can catch glimpses of him in captivating TV ads. He's also embraced the digital age, engaging with his fans through social media and contributing to vital ministry and outreach efforts. Not only does he groove to the music, but he's also deeply involved in his community and sports. His interviews, both local and national, provide fascinating insights into his dynamic journey. Michel'le. Daz Dillinger thinks Michel'le is the reason Dr. Dre left Death Row Records. While sharing his thoughts on surviving Compton, Dre, Suge, and Amp, Michel'le, the Lifetime film from Michel'le, Daz Dillinger said, "Did you see where Suge Knight was talking to Tupac like that in her movie? I don't recall no like that." Also, in a candid conversation with Vlad TV, Daz didn't hold back when discussing Michel'le. She took it upon herself to create the film, feeling slighted by the fact that Straight Outta Compton had completely omitted her and the alleged physical abuse she endured at the hands of Dr. Dre. And Daz said, "My thing was, why Dr. Dre left, probably got to ask Michel'le. Dre left Death Row Records in 1996 over infighting. She probably the big cause of it. I don't want to start no controversy. I seen that She f***ed Death Row up too. She came in there trying to be the CEO. She was doing all kind of dirt and all that Michel'le has children with both Dre and Suge, but she recently told Wendy Williams that she's not close to either of them. Her movie talks about Dre's alleged history of abuse. Daz, on the other hand, claims that Michel'le was involved with people in their music label. He says she shouldn't blame Dr. Dre for hurting her. Instead, she was involved with various people, including Suge, after feeling unhappy with Dr. Dre. Michel'le's journey with Dr. Dre began when she was just 16 years old. They crossed paths while she was contributing her vocals to a song called Turn Off the Lights for a group called the World-Class Wreckin' Crew. Despite their significant age difference, Michel'le and Dre, who was 22 with a baby on the way from a previous relationship, soon became a couple. Their relationship evolved quickly, leading to an engagement and the birth of their son, Marcel, in February 1991. Marcel was Michelle Lay's first child and Dre's sixth. Unfortunately, as time went on, their relationship became increasingly strained due to Dre's alleged drinking, infidelity, and volatile behavior. Michelle Lay endured physical abuse throughout their time together, with injuries including a broken nose, a cracked rib, and 5 black eyes. She even recounted a chilling incident where Dre shot at her during an argument, narrowly missing her. To cope with the turmoil, Michelle Lay reportedly turned to prescription pills and alcohol, spiraling further into her struggles. She eventually left Dre when she discovered he was engaged to another woman. In her darkest moments with Dre, Suge Knight, the CEO and co-founder of Death Row Records, intervened to help Michelle Lay recover. He sent her to rehab in an effort to support her through these tough times. In 1999, Michelle Lay and Suge married while he was in prison, but their marriage faced legal complications when it was revealed to be invalid due to Suge's prior marriage. Their relationship also had its moments of physical violence, with Suge dislocating Michelle Lay's jaw during an altercation. They share a daughter, Bailey, born in 2002, and Michelle Lay took legal action in 2009 to address unpaid spousal and child support from Suge. In 2015, Dr. Dre faced criticism for failing to address his history of abusing women in the film Straight Outta Compton. He issued a public apology in a statement in the New York Times. However, Michelle Lay doubted the sincerity of this apology, believing that it was more about protecting his image than making amends with those he had harmed. She felt that a true apology would have been a private conversation where he expressed genuine remorse for his actions. In the late 1980s, a young and talented Michelle Lay emerged from the streets of Compton, California, with a voice that would captivate the world. Born on December 5th, 1970, Michelle Lay faced the challenges of growing up in a rough neighborhood, but she found solace and escape in music. From a young age, Michelle Lay's voice stood out. Her unique vocal style, characterized by a high-pitched squeak, set her apart from other artists of her time. It was a voice that demanded attention and left a lasting impression on anyone who heard it. Michelle Lay's breakthrough came in 1987 when she was featured as a female vocalist on world-class Wreckin' Crew's hit single, Turn Off the Lights. This collaboration caught the attention of Eazy-E, the co-founder of Ruthless Records, who recognized the immense talent Michelle Lay possessed. Eazy-E wasted no time in signing Michelle Lay to Ruthless Records, and in 1989, she released her self-titled debut album. It quickly climbed the charts, reaching number 35 on the Billboard 200 and achieving gold certification. One of the standout tracks from the album was No More Lies, a top 10 US Hot 100 hit. Following the success of No More Lies, Michelle Lay continued to release hit singles such as Nicety and Something in My Heart. While Michelle Lay's career was soaring, her personal life was plagued by turmoil and challenges. In 2016, Michelle Lay's story reached a wider audience with the release of the biopic Surviving Compton: Dre, Suge, and Michelle Lay. The film sheds light on the abusive relationship with Suge Knight and Dr. Dre and the challenges she faced in the music industry. Following a hiatus from the spotlight, Michelle Lay made a triumphant return to the public eye in 2013 when she joined the cast of TV1's reality series R&B Divas LA. The show provided a platform for Michelle Lay to reconnect with her fans and showcase her talent once again. In addition to her television appearances, Michelle Lay has released new singles. While Michelle Lay has not released a full-length album since Hung Jury in 1998, she's been working on new material for her third album. If you enjoyed this video, click on the card showing on your screen right now for more videos exposing heinous crimes.